Hello, my topic presentation is about the Baglihar Dam and what it's like to depend on your mortal enemy for water. We'll start with a little background and the Indus Water Treaty. It was formed in 1960. It identifies the eastern rivers as the Sutlej, the Beas, and the Ravi, and the western rivers as the Indus, the Jhelum, and the Chenab. It also defines terms for rivers, tributaries, lakes, etc., and what they're used for, such as things for agriculture, crops, or animals versus household, like drinking, washing, or gardening. It also specified a transition period of April 1st, 1960 to March 31st, 1970, where Pakistan can receive unrestricted use of water from the eastern rivers released by India. And then after the transition period, Pakistan would have no claim or rights released by India of any waters out of the eastern rivers. Whereas with the western rivers, they were allotted to Pakistan to receive unrestricted use, which India is under obligation to let flow, and India would not be allowed to interfere with these rivers, like make use of its waters or store any of the water or construct any storage works on them, with a few specific exceptions, such as hydroelectric power, which is what the Baglihar Dam is. So the Baglihar Dam, or the Baglihar Hydroelectric Power Project, is located on the Chenab River in the Doda district of Jammu and Kashmir. The project was conceived in 1982, approved in 1996, and construction began in 1999. Pakistan feels that the project violates the 1960 Indus Water Treaty because partly India reduced the water flow to fill up the dam lake in Jammu and Kashmir, causing a loss of agriculture for farmers in Pakistan. India, however, says that the project does not violate the treaty and that the water shortage was simply from little availability of water in a lean year. Throughout 1999 and 2004, India and Pakistan had several discussions about the design, but could not reach an agreement. So, per the treaty, the differences would be dealt with by a neutral expert who accepted the essence of all the objections by Pakistan, but in his final decision, he favored more towards India's design, which Pakistan felt came from a misunderstanding of the guidelines of the treaty, and they still weren't happy about it. During all this time, the first part of the dam was already being finished in 2004. In these pictures, you can see a typical schematic diagram of a dam with low-level outlets, the side view of it in the top left, as well as the elevation of the Baglihar Dam in the top right. And then the chart has the issues Pakistan brought up, their position compared to what India's design was, and what the neutral expert determined. So you can see the freeboard, which is the very top part of the dam, was favored more toward India's design. The power intake at the highest level was kind of in the middle. And then the excess was proposed at 37.5 million cubic meters by Pakistan, or by India, whereas Pakistan wanted only 6 million cubic meters, but it was determined to allow just over 32. There was also some dispute about the dead storage level, DSL, which is essentially just the lake, which again was favored more toward India. So what does all this mean for the people of Pakistan? Well, they have the world's largest contiguous canal irrigation system, dependent solely on the waters of the Indus Basin. Obviously, water is a major and important resource. It's critical for agriculture to meet fiber and food requirements, as well as drinking water, sanitation, industry, environment, etc. The Environmental impacts could include biodiversity loss, such as wildlife and agrodiversity, drought or floods, there's river, coastal, or mud flow, food insecurity, such as crop damage, loss of landscape or aesthetic degradation, soil erosion, deforestation, loss of vegetation cover, large-scale disturbance of hydro and geological systems, and reduced ecological or hydrological connectivity. There's also socioeconomic impacts to consider, such as the displacement of the people, loss of livelihood, violation of human rights, land disposition, and loss of landscape or sense of place. Let's also take a look at some of the agricultural facts for Pakistan. Agriculture contributes about 21 to 23% of their GPD, or gross domestic product. 80% of rural workforce is engaged in agriculture. It's responsible for 60 to 70% of the country's exports. And Pakistan has over 60,000 megawatt hydroelectric power generation capacity, which can produce electricity at a fraction of the cost of generation of power plants from fossil fuels. So my question for you is, with this leverage India has over Pakistan's water supply, what are other ways you think Pakistan can provide this resource for their people? Thank you so much for watching. Here's my references, and I look forward to your replies.